We are once again back with your favorite episode of Biggie on Sport. This is the platform that we create for individuals who are making sure that they work to the highest level behind the scenes in making sure that they advance the cause of others out there. We all know that sport development is a bedrock of any nation, of any community, of any individuals who are aspiring to become better persons or people in the field of sport. But those people are being supported by a number of factors, and they shall never be able to achieve their objectives if there are no people such as mentorship or coaches out there. My guest in the studio will be sharing with us about the wonderful work that she is doing on the ground. She's hailing all the way from Tembisa. I did mention over and over again on this platform that that township, Tembisa, it looks like it is the fountainhead of many talents. Coach, hi. Welcome to Big on Sport.
No, thanks you very much for having me.
Please share with the viewers who is a coach, where you're from.
Thank you very much for having me. This is Isabel. I'm from Tembisa. I'm a current coach of Golden Girls Football Club.
Yes, coach. Golden Girls Football Club. What division and how old are the players?
Or from the ages of 8 years to 18 years. Yeah, there's no one older than 18 years in our team. However, it's open for everyone. Yeah, it's just that most of the players that have interest in and around our areas are from Tembisa.
How long has the team been in existence, coach?
Or the existence of the team, it has been there for over 5 years now.
Okay.
Yes, I've joined it 2 years ago. Actually, there's a founder of Golden Girls.
Okay.
Yes, Tabiso Tabete.
Okay.
Yes, I met the girls when I was just passing by.
Okay.
Yeah, so because I have this love for football.
Okay.
I've seen these young girls. So I went there, introduced myself.
Okay.
That's when my journey started with them. Yeah.
Did you play football yourself?
Yes, I used to play football back in the days. But due to some challenges, I had to quit because now I had to put bread on the table. Okay. So I had to look for a job so I can provide. Exactly. So that's where I left football to go and work.
But as a player, what were your aspirations, maybe? What is it that you wanted to achieve as a player?
Oh, as a player, back then.
Yeah, as a player, what is it that you wanted to achieve?
I wanted to be a Banyana star.
Okay.
Yes, I was heading to that direction. Okay. Yeah, hence I've said that due to challenges that I had to put something on the table as I was growing, I had to quit so I can go work. Yeah, so when I came back as a coach. Yes.
And did you regret that you could not fulfill your aspirations of becoming a Banyana player?
Yeah, there and there I did regret. However, for now, I'm grateful that I'm bringing change to the community, you know, because I've always wished to be a soccer star, but now it's nice that I'm doing something aligned to what I used to do back then. Yeah.
I'm asking this question because for me, it's never too late. With the work you're doing now as a coach, obviously, you can still actually move up and perhaps get involved with Banyana one day. Who knows? Let's come back to career as a coach, your coaching. Was it a calling, or you have always wanted to become a coach towards the end of your football career as a player?
No, it has never crossed my mind.
Okay.
Yeah, I always wanted to be a soccer star. Okay. I didn't think that I would be a coach one day. So I would just simply say it's a calling.
It's a calling?
Yeah, it is a calling. Yeah, because
It was a calling, obviously. You never expected that to become a coach. And then let's talk about the name itself, Golden Girls.
Oh, Golden Girls.
Yeah.
As I said, I found Golden Girls as Golden Girls.
Okay.
So when I met Tabiso Tabete,
Yeah.
I introduced myself, and I had this plan in my mind that I want to call my team Golden Ladies, but I didn't know that it was Golden Girls.
Okay.
So it was just a coincidence, actually.
Wow.
So when I introduced myself and I told him that I want to start a team, but I'm in short of players. So now I'm interested because I'm seeing these young girls by themselves, so I can take good care of them and be there for them. So he's a busy person, he couldn't be there full time.
Okay.
So that's when I was introduced to Golden Girls. So when he told me that it's Golden Girls, I was so
shocked.
Yeah, I was so shocked.
Because this is one name that was working.
Yeah. So everything just got into place.
Okay.
Yeah, and I connected with the girls until today. Yeah, through everything that we've achieved as a team, I'm very pleased, and I'm hoping that one day we will be playing for the Hollywoods. That's the goal now. Yeah, I'm heading there because we are the strongest team around Tembisa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Coach, as an individual, you actually looked at your resume. You seem to have achieved a lot through the team itself. Just share with the viewers as to what are some of the accolades that have been bestowed or that you have achieved so far.
Oh, okay. So far, as I said, it's under 11 and under 18 girls. Yes. So under 11, we were crowned champions under Lima Sports Program for Youth Development Cup. Okay. So yeah, it was, if I'm not mistaken, around April. Yeah, we played the tournament and we won. And what's nice about it, we won against boys. It was girls versus boys.
Wow.
Yeah, so we were girls, but we managed to win the tournament. And again, we won a mental health tournament awareness that was held at Tembisa Mitlaring Stadium.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a recent one, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so we won in both divisions. It's under 15 and under 18. Yeah. And the last one was under Lima, Lima Girls League. Okay. That was launched early this year. So we were crowned champions. We were the first champions for that league.
Yes, Coach, good as it sounds, I guess it comes with a lot of challenges. I just want to check with you, how do you balance the two? Because obviously, there is a calling of this nature. It takes passion for you. And you need to balance the two, maybe work and some of the household chores at home. And the same people that you are coaching, obviously, they're coming from a different background in terms of families and so forth. How does the coach assert himself or herself in that situation?
Whew, a very tough one. A very tough one. Being a coach and having to juggle between work, households, and coaching, it's very challenging. It's very challenging to a point that I had to quit my job, my 9-to-5 job, as to look after the girls.
Wow.
I have this passion and I have this belief that one day things will work out. So I just had to quit because time could not balance. I have to be at training and I have to be at work. Weekends, it's game time, so it wouldn't work. So I had to choose between my work and Golden Girls. So I just chose to be with them until God knows when. Yeah.
As a female coach, what are the daily challenges that you guys come across? We don't have much of female coaches in as far as football is concerned in South Africa. I know there's your Janine van Wyk, there's your Maud Kumalo, the under-20 Banyana coach and stuff. We don't have many of them. Why do we have predominantly men as coaches than female coaches?
Maybe it's because we are limited, you see. We are not given the platform.
Okay.
Yeah, when you come as a woman and you you tell people about your coaching skills, they think that you won't make it, you will fail because you are a woman.
Okay.
And the league that it's played, Lima Sports program, that is directed by Derek Mapuru.
Yes.
I'm the only woman under Lima Girls League. So it tells you that we are not out there because maybe it's fear. I don't know. I can't speak on their behalf.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't limit myself when it comes to me. So I go out there, even when I play tournaments, I don't care if there is a female coach or no female coach. I just play tournaments and yeah, I bring in results. Yeah, I don't limit myself. Yeah.
Has there been any representation from your players, perhaps donning national colors in as far as Banyana Banyana or the little Banyana Banyana, which is the under-20s concerned? Are there any of your players that have been selected to represent the country at that particular level?
So far, I wouldn't lie. There's no player that has made it to the top yet.
Okay.
But we are hoping that the coming years, things will look good because the recognition was not there. The leagues that we play for are the leagues that limit us. We are just based in and around Tembisa,
okay.
So that makes it hard for the girls to be scouted.
Okay.
Yeah, however, now we are aiming to play a regional league, of which it's a better league than the leagues that we're playing now, the local leagues. So I think we have great players. So I think when we get recognition, that's when the girls will get a platform to play.
With that, obviously, there will be exposure as well.
Yes, yes.
Coach, it takes resources, obviously. It takes resources and a lot of resources, obviously, to sustain a project of this magnitude. It's not an easy task. How do you guys sustain yourself?
We sometimes do donations.
Okay.
Yes, as to fundraise. Parents are involved there. We are struggling, I don't want to lie, because some parents depend on social grants, of which is not enough. So they balance giving us something so that we can attend games, you see, affiliate for tournaments, because you cannot play a tournament for free. We need food so that players can eat. So it's parents and us from our pockets, the little that we have, that we fund the team so it can move. Yeah. So
it's basically it's a self-funded project that you guys are doing.
Yes, yes, it's a self-funded project.
Let's talk about the infrastructure, facilities, sport facilities, and recreational centers around Tembisa. A lot of people who have been on this platform, obviously, they've bemoaned, if not lamented, scoffing at officials or not allowing them access to these particular facilities, to can utilize those facilities, making reference to strict bureaucratic policies, red tapes, and so forth. So for you guys, are you able to access facilities in terms? I know there's Metlaring, there's Makulong Stadium, and I think Ekaleni or whatever, Ekwabeni section stadium. Yeah. You guys, how is it going with you guys? Are you able, because as I said when I started with this question, a lot of guests who have been here, they are bemoaning, especially towards the city of Ekurhuleni, sports or SHREC, sports and recreation department, that they are not given the opportunity to utilize and access those facilities.
Yeah, it's very hard to access the facilities. Speaking of which, you need money to book the stadium. If you don't have money, you cannot play there. But I would like to say, I don't blame the stadiums and what so on. The problem lies on the local schools, because we have schools that have proper soccer fields, but they don't allow us to play there. We are writing letters, we're doing the best that we can, because we can access them for free, because it's schools, but they're making it very difficult for us. Yeah, we always have disputes when it comes to that. Even the soccer field that we use for training, it's not good for kids. You see, they can easily get injured on those grounds. of which is giving us a very big challenge. So I wouldn't put a blame too much on Mitharing Stadium, Makulong Stadium, and so forth, because it's different. Hence I'm saying that when it comes to schools, it's a different manner. Where I stay locally, there are 2 schools that can actually give us the grounds to use. But then it's just a run around. You will never understand. They don't give you a direct answer. You go up and down, you see. So I don't understand. And also, you also find that, I'm sorry to say this, but you also found that there are churches there, they allow churches there to take place. You see people that are coming in there, you don't know how do they get the access to get there, whereas you as a community member, you are crying and say, I have kids and I want to use your field.
I said it in my introduction that for any community, especially those involved in sport or individuals, for them to thrive and flourish, obviously, we need, in fact, toolkits, and toolkits such as facilities as well as resources, obviously. I want us to go back to officials in the city of Ekurhuleni, because a lot of people have been lamenting on that. Why are they denying, in fact, football teams on the grassroots level, including netball teams, etc., access to the stadium? What needs to be done? And you mentioned issues of payment. How do developmental teams incur costs, whereas they're at the developmental phase? Obviously, they don't have resources to pay for that. And I must remind the viewers that we're supposed, in fact, to have a guest from the city of Ekurhuleni, from the Department of Sport. We did actually send emails and made requests for their availability in as far as this matter or subject is concerned, so that we give them a right of reply and share with us as to what is stifling all these processes and what needs to be done on the ground. I think something had to be done, obviously, for you guys to utilize stadiums like, because some of them were designed, if I'm not mistaken, for the 2010 World Cup, and most of them have now become white elephants. They're not being utilized. I know one stadium in Davidton, the biggest one, which is Sinaba Stadium. It has become a white elephant. Where I'm coming from, Guatemala, there's Guatemala Stadium. It's not actually frequently, if not constantly, utilized. There's Tsakane Stadium, at least they do have games, etc. There's Hunters Field. I was talking to one guest here from Katlehong Athletic Club, and also lamented about inaccessibility to the stadiums and so forth. I think for me, that's my take. It's uncalled for. I don't know if you share the same sentiments.
Yeah, no, it's really uncalled for. Yeah, it's just that, as I said, I cannot focus mainly on as you say, stadiums, like big stadiums, because I don't even know the procedure as to how do you blame them for not giving you the field. You see, because what I know is that you just need to pay the money, then you get access to the field. You see, my focus mainly today, it's schools. Local schools need to assist us via development to assess those grounds, because they're not used at all. They're just sitting there, and they will tell you about maintenance and all that, of which also even if we're not playing, the grounds need to be maintained. So yeah.
And on that point, there's no schools sport that is taking place, obviously. Yeah. And I guess you guys, you're not the only team in Tembisa. There's many of the teams. Any possibilities that you can form a structure that will come together and perhaps engage with these schools that are having those facilities, so that you guys can reach an MOU, memorandum of understanding, maybe going forward?
Yeah, maybe that could work. Actually, I think that's a great idea. I think we need to come together as coaches as to tackle this matter, because it's a very serious issue. As you can see that children of today go different ways, they do wrong things.
Involving social ills,
Yes. So we're keeping them together as to do a right thing. So we just need to bring a good change. So it would be nice if we would come together. I think I would just, when I go home today, I would just work on that, getting coaches together as to at least try to reach out to schools. Maybe something will be done.
Don't forget, you are watching Biggie on Sport. We say what they won't say. I'm with my coach from Golden Girls football team in Tembisa. Coach Mot Kumalo, the coach of under 20. She's been to the Kosafa Girls Cup. Recently, she did quite well. Are you looking up to people such as herself, as well as the Banyana head coach, Desiree Ellis, and many others around the country? Do you draw any inspiration from them?
Yes. Actually, they are my role models because I'm walking their footsteps.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm hoping that one day, whatever they are achieving, one day I will be seated where they are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know there's a young girl watching this episode. She's interested maybe becoming a football player or perhaps becoming a coach. And lately there are strict calls that have been made that every coach has to have some level of credentials in as far as CAF certificates and so forth are concerned. Are you working towards that as well?
Yes, I'm working towards that. I'm working towards having a D license because I don't have any form of qualification
as
for being a coach. Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm working on it early next year. It's something that I'm looking up to do. Yes.
Educate us a little bit. If one takes out that particular course, to pay the course out of your pocket, or does the association or the federation, which is SAFA, meet you halfway? How does it work? Because I've seen a lot of people taking out this course on a number of occasions.
It actually depends. Sometimes they call out that you can do the course for free.
Okay.
Sometimes you pay for a course.
Okay.
So it depends which when we in course.
Yeah.
We are ngesizini ukuthi wena ungeneni. Yeah, ngoba nabo bakutsheli, they just come and say a course, D-license course, free, then you apply.
Okay.
Sometimes you just have to pop in money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Coach, what are your biggest dream in as far as your team is concerned, and you as an individual as well? What are your future plans, long-term plans? Where do you want to see this team? Apart from seeing the team in Idlalagu, Hollywood, Bet, a league and stuff like that, but what are your biggest aspirations, including in as far as your team is concerned and the players wako?
Oh, okay. Kakhulu nje into engibhekile goal. Uthi abogeli most yabo bathola ama collabs from the national squad.
Okay.
Uyabo badlalela ama teams are professional.
Yeah.
Uyabona the likes of University of Johannesburg. Uyabona ama team at least angababeka to that level. TX Galaxy at least ingababeka nabo to that level. So ngifisa nje ukuthi nabo bathole e-sport lapho bangadlala khona professionally so. Yeah.
Asinama team amaningi wama girls, but angekho kanjalo ayaqala emerge manje. I want you to look at the camera, your camera, and talk to the nation out there and urge the nation to establish these structures. That's number one. Number two, obviously you guys have so many challenges as you have mentioned. Talk to corporates out there and urge them as well that they should come on board and help you guys. Again, talk to government officials, especially the Department of Sports. They should come on board as well and make sure that they heed a call in as far as development is concerned. Yeah. Talk to them.
Oh, okay.
And what about you like to coach Uba and Uba P40 and stuff like that?
Oh, I very ngaleyo.
Yes.
Yeah, coach Isabel Bambo, ngibuye Tembisa, coach Golden Girls Football Club. Ngizoqala ngikhulume ngendaba
ama facility ama challenges enawo khuluma nama corporate ukuthi you are looking for sponsorships, you guys are struggling on the ground. Uyacela ukuthi any company out there ebona umsebenzi wenu omuhle eniwenzile ngiyacela ukuthi banisize. That's number one. Number two, government officials, please allow sport to flourish on the ground. Allow sport to develop developmental phases, by assisting on the ground and giving them access to facilities where they are available. And then, yeah, number 3, again, talk to government and going forward. And again, young people out there who wants to join your club, where they can find you, and what it takes to become a female coach.
Oh, okay. We are calling out to anyone that has interest on sponsoring Golden Girls. It can be soccer balls, beeps, cones, anything that you can think of that says soccer. You can just reach out to us as to put in a hand so that we bring change to our girls. Yeah. And again, speaking of the facilities, this message should just ring to you that we really need these facilities. Without the facilities, then we cannot play. We just need the facilities so that we can make the girls play. Yeah. And again, to all the youngsters out there, especially girls, I just want to send out a message that it is possible. You just need to align yourself with people of your same caliber and refrain from hanging around with people that will mislead you to the wrong direction. If you have this dream, pursue it. Just work hard, give your hundreds, then you'll never know. Maybe one day you'll be a soccer star or maybe a coach. Yeah.
Coach, we're about to let you go. If people want to get hold of you, what are your socials?
Socials, it's called at Golden Girls Football Club. We are at Facebook, Golden Girls Football Club. Yes, and
Twitter, Instagram, we're not there?
No, we're not there, no.
Okay.
No.
Any contact details like for a club, any young girl at Tembisa is fascinated and says, I am going to join this team next week. Where can they reach out to you?
Oh, okay. Let me just drop my WhatsApp number.
Okay.
It's 071
Yes.
136 1270. Yeah, that's my WhatsApp number. No calls. It's strictly WhatsApp. Then we can talk. Yeah.
Coach, you are doing sterling work. Congratulations, and we wish you all the best. And I wish all your hopes and desires will be fulfilled. Especially now, you are saying that you would like to see some of the girls receiving call-ups into the Banyana, because obviously your Katlanas of this world are aging, and we're going to need more girls to represent the country. And I see also the under 20 young girls have been competing in the COSAFA Cup. Unfortunately, they were beaten in the finals by Zambia, but they did well. And we are looking forward to see you producing players of such caliber. Once again, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
That was our coach, as we had coming from the Golden Girls in Tembisa. I've always reiterated on this platform that we need to support developmental structures on the ground because without any support, they shall never thrive. My next guest, as we are talking sport development today, as well as a lack of facilities at that level, is one particular seasonal journalist, news editor. He goes by the name of Steve Mapepeza. That's how I called him. They used to have a huge circulation in as far as the publication is concerned, Mapepeza, but he's the right man to tell us more. He does multimedia. He's the co-founder of the publication itself. Steve, welcome, and please introduce yourself to our viewers.
No, thanks, Biggie, for introducing me. My name is Stephen Seakgwe. I'm the co-founder and publisher of Mapepeza News Media. We are a media company based in Johannesburg that has been in existence for the last 11 years. We are currently the 2019 Gauteng Community Sports Media of the Year, and we have been nominated 3 times before. Our role in society is to make sure that we hold those in power accountable and make sure that service delivery reaches the people that it's intended for. Another thing that we do is that we inform communities on the local developments that are happening around them, and also make sure that what they see in terms of talent and what the developments happening around them within the people is also highlighted. So Mapepeza has been playing that role in more than 9 communities, township communities now, starting from Heidelberg, where we come from. We used to extensively cover that area exclusively, but now we've heard from other townships that there's a demand for a local-based paper that speaks to them and speaks in a language they understand. So Mapepeza branched out to serve communities in Katoras and in Zakwaduza, which is Zakane, Kwatema, and Tutuza. And then at this moment, we've branched to also create a digital platform, which is called Mapepeza Online, where we, on a daily basis, update our communities on the latest developments, including sports and anything that's related to that. In a nutshell, that's who we are. And then going forward, yes, the world is digital, you know, but the paper will remain free because from the get-go, we've been serving the community that needs the media. You know, in South Africa, we all have a basic human right in the Constitution enshrined that says we have access to information.
Exactly.
However, we found that in our communities, the far-flung townships, they don't have the same privilege, you know, so they won't say that they have access to information. So our media, as local journalists and media practitioners, whether it's TV, radio, or print, we serve that need, that make sure that South Africans do have access to information.
Yeah, you guys come a long way, obviously. Just for the benefit of other viewers at home, what is the circulation as it stands? I know previously you guys were doing pretty good, pretty well, but with the economy lately being stifled, there are a lot of challenges. We know of other publications, they've since actually stopped publicizing their newspapers. I'm talking about the Beard, they've seized, and many others. Are you still guys actually running with hard copies as well as digital?
Yeah. Over the past few years, it has been very difficult. We have dropped our circulation by almost 80%.
Wow.
There's dropped from 40,000, now we're at 5,000 copies circulating every second Friday. What happened was that during the heydays of print being so flourishing, we had a lot of support from local government. That means the municipalities really came through in terms of supporting us. Main thing was that we hold them accountable on the basis of them not informing the communities enough. So us being that bridge that informs the municipal activities to the communities became something very useful for them. But in 2019, that's when we started having the first blow. The city of Ekurhuleni called all of the local media practitioners, radio, TV, and print, and we sat down and they gave us a directive that going forward they will not be actively supporting local media. That was a huge knock on our side, which just make sure that it translated to the circulation. So we didn't reach Katoras and Zakwaduza as we expected every 2 weeks. So now we do it once a month, you know. So going from 2020 to 2024, we've just been trying to just divide the publication to which community needs it the most, because we find that in other communities they are very digital versed, so it's important for us to focus on giving them more of the content in the digital platform. And then there's places where it's not as privileged as it is, you know, and that's where we put more emphasis on print, you know, because it's very important for us to balance things. When we talk to young people, it's very important to speak to where they are. We cannot say that we are trying to force every person in the community to read a newspaper. But what is important for us is to make sure that the information that's within those pages reaches as many people as possible. So any platform that we've been using, especially digital, since I've told you that we've branched out to Mapepeza Online, that has been very useful because we're able to reach these people on time and every time.
Steve, I want us to actually focus now on the bull in the house, which is sport development.
True.
Our focus, I want us to be there. I spoke to my earlier guest. We actually were hammering on sport development that comes with challenges on the ground, not well supported. And I know that the media, local media, so to speak, because this is where these challenges are surfacing from. I know the media has a role to play there to make an impact in making sure that they highlight those challenges. How can the media intervene in helping sport development on the ground on a daily basis?
I would say that the media has already been a player in this whole scheme, but not an active one, you know. What I would say is because of the access to media, that's where we can see the divide, you know. I would just put a small example. You know the Caxton newspapers that circulate in every town. Every town in Gauteng, but every township in Gauteng does not have an exclusive newspaper. That is what we need to emphasize. So you find that when it comes to highlighting the development of sports in our communities, including school sports.
School sports, yes.
Papers like the Caxton papers have done very well in emphasizing what happens in town. If someone goes to town and picks up maybe the Boxback Advertiser, they will know what happened in the local schools, and they will also know what happened in the Boxback community when it comes to sport during that time. But when it comes to us in the township, you know, it's very difficult to actually now take as much content and put it in that platform to give it to people, because we don't have those platforms. As Mapepeza, what we do is that we do our best to just squeeze everyone into one page, you know, but print is only limited to its size. So digital is where there is an avenue, but we need to just hold on to making sure that let's get more support, you know, hold on to the fact that we need to actually grow the media in our communities so that it becomes a reflective way of us to tackle issues and to see the progress in our society. In the newspapers that we have been producing, because now we no longer produce Mapepeza alone. I've actually tried to save some of the papers that have closed down in the past couple of years. Recently, we've worked with the Journal newspaper. It's based in Vosloorus, owned by Ubab Muzimango. And then we're also doing Inner City Gazette, which is the oldest and only existing paper in the inner city of Joburg, like Joburg CBD. That paper is owned by Mrs. Tembi Moyo. So those papers and two other papers, so two Sunrise and Ekurhuleni News. We've worked together as a coalition instead of competing. We share content. That means when something is happening in Ekurhuleni, I know I have my correspondents at Ekurhuleni News. If something is happening in Joburg Central, I have my correspondents in the Inner City Gazette. So we have worked together despite the lack of having enough papers to reach those people or having enough platforms to reach as many people as possible. We have tried our best to actually just see the pockets of sports development that has been happening. Like I would emphasize one thing, like in the inner city, it's somewhere a lot of people do not think sport exists, but I'll tell you it thrives, and it's the only avenue you find young people living in the flats that they can resort to when it comes to after school. And in the townships, yes, we can emphasize that the facilities are not there, but the fact that you can have a space to play is something we should not take for granted. If you live in the inner city, you're only limited to the flat you're living in. When you go outside, there are no spaces where you can actually make play other than your parks. So there's these people that actually use those parks as sporting grounds, you know, and we need to actually now hit the nail where it's at and make sure we tell officials that these facilities are owned by the communities, but they are managed by government. One thing that I've realized over the years is that these facilities are accessible. They are there for our people, and government always opens the gate. The issue is that the maintenance component of it is so important to government that they end up restricting the access. You know, they end up not giving them the access, because I realized that we as black people, we come from a lot of challenges, and in our communities we do not have a heartfelt need to do something for others. You know, we have a heartfelt need to fix problems for others, but to do something out of your own initiative it's a rare occasion. So I feel like now we need to actually now, as media, our role is to actually hit the government where it hurts when it comes to sports, because we are always invited to events when there's launches, when there is an initiative taking place. But who is there to make sure that the initiative continues?
Exactly.
And it becomes something sustainable that gives the community something that they can say that this one is a true benefit. Yeah.
Steve, I've mentioned, and I like the point you've just illustrated about facilities being accessible, being granted to the community, but the challenge is that as communities, we don't take responsibility, we vandalize this, and this actually creates a huge impact in as far as the government's or local government financial status is concerned. What can be done as the media with regard to that, to change the mindset of the communities and also highlight the importance of sport development with regards to these facilities?
Yeah, one thing we need to see as people, just society, just the citizens, is the need for sport. The need for sport can be the most liberating thing in the world. In America, the need for sport liberates American citizens to the point of making that country the most powerful country in the world. We're talking NBA.
For sure.
You know, we're talking American baseball. You know, we're talking all these sports.
Football.
Exactly.
Football.
Why? Because the American citizen, the average citizen, has the deep need inside of them that says sport not only is a way to get fit or is a way to stay busy, but it's a way that connects us as a community, as a country. When we meet at sporting events, we have fun, we laugh, we play, we sing together. That liberates the person. When they get back home, they go home with that sense of belonging, you know, and that's what is needed in our communities. As media, what we can do is that we can give our space to all the sports events and all the sports activities that are happening at no cost. You know, some of us, we have been doing that for years, but now I want to extend a call to other journalists and other media practitioners that this space will, this sport will only grow when everyone is involved, not just government, not just the teams, not just parents when it comes to school board, but everyone. You know, I'll tell you one thing about Caxton. I want to go back there because they are what we need to look at as an anchor, because their consistency over the past 40 years, because they've been doing it before apartheid, it has been lingering. Even if I go and see a Caxton newspaper in Cape Town, it will be the same as a Caxton newspaper in Joburg.
You're right. I grew up, actually I was born and exposed to one of the publications which is circulating within Kwatsaduza, as you said, the African Reporter. It has been standardized, it has always been like that to this day.
And one thing that was there is that the second last page and the last page were reserved for two things, schools and sport. That is an exclusive thing that they will never fail, and it's one thing that connects the paper to the community. So even radio stations, they do have sports slots, but we need to have a school slots now. After school, we need to have an active slot where young people are actively participating in radio, in media, so that their peers can actually be encouraged to participate in sport. Because as much as we need young talent to flourish in the field, we need young talent to flourish administratively in terms of coaches, announce people, people who are doing broadcasting. You know, we need to actually create an environment where sports is a job creator. We look at sport as a way to liberate yourself. And Mangiti, I'm done with matric. I'm looking at a career in sports, and I'm not looking at it as a talent, perspective, but I'm looking at it as a professional perspective. Hence, I'm saying that as South Africans, let's have this quote that Mandela once said that says, "Sport has the ability to unite the nation." You know, in us, everywhere we go, and whatever sort of divide that we are seeing, let's use sport as a mechanism. I don't think we will go wrong. I feel we have done that in the past. Can I emphasize one tournament that used to happen back in the day. Do you remember the Sanka Sports Against Crime?
Sanka, yes, against crime, yes.
Yeah, Sports Against Crime was one of the most pivotal events I've grew up being influenced by, you know, and I've been involved in sports as well, you know. While we were growing up, we realized that the need for facilities and the need for resources is paramount. But when an organization takes out of its own initiative to organize an event that will bring young people to play sports actively and regularly, I think a lot of companies, they can actually do that as well, you know. Europe and Asia and the United States and in South Africa as well, especially in rugby. Private companies are thriving from sports. Their main customers are from sports. So they use sports as a way to communicate. And in turn, that sport develops to at highest levels. Remember, we are the World Cup holders when it comes to rugby. Simply because of one simple thing, the commercial backing of the Springbok is unmatched. I will tell you right now, my man, if I'm wrong, let them come to this platform and let them come and debunk this myth or correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
The Springboks has a commercial element to it, and it's managed by a company which is within the South African Rugby Union. So what happens is that do not look at Springbok as a team. Look at Springbok as a brand.
As a brand.
So if Springbok is a brand, it has brand elements like the logo and the jersey. It has other elements like the players and all these things. Every piece of the Springbok is sold to every person in the private sector. I'm telling you.
I heard last week they sold some of their shares.
Exactly.
Last week.
How do we know that a team, a club has shares? A club that we thought it's representing the country has private interest. One thing you need to see is that each and every Springbok player that has been emphasized a lot, especially the ones of color, they've received a lot of advertising endorsements. Those endorsements go through SARU, through the Springbok branding. You understand? One of the main sponsors of the Springbok is FNB. One thing you need to realize, as a main sponsor, you are allowed to do anything with your brand. So the FNB has been allowed to do anything with the Springboks branding. They took the Springboks logo and put it on bank cards. They took that logo and put it next to their logo in all their communication. This is during the World Cup. They made sure that they organize all the sports events that bring the fans together. They made a huge activation at Bank City, where the Springboks were the main guys. When the bus came through from the airport, it went through Bank City. It was a very big event. It was so big that we were invited as the media to be part of that activation. And what I've realized there is that I spoke to a couple of brand guys, and they said the Springboks have a red card. That means when you need to use the word Springboks, you pay. When you need to use the logo with the back, you pay. The color.
These people know how to make
this
money.
Color, guys, we need to emphasize one thing. In sports, we've never talked about colors. In sports,
colors as in outfit.
Yeah, the importance of the outfit in colors.
Yes, okay.
Yes. You know the importance of the green jersey, right? In sports, whether it's rugby or golf, when they give you the green jersey, that means you've reached the upper echelons of sport. This green color is the same green color that the Springboks is using for their green and gold outfit. And what happens is that no brand that is affiliated with the Springboks is allowed to use that color without the Springboks getting something. That means this tone of color or this shade of color is uniquely for the Springboks. And if you want to use green and gold, you know, you need to consult them first. One example,
it's more like a patent.
Yeah, it's a patent.
It's a patent, so they own the patent.
Because Escort, the pork company, the one they sell meat, they did a concept where I was invited personally. It's called the Springboks with a BOX at the end. So what they did, the marketing team cleverly took the logo of Springbok, the word Springbok, and then they changed the word to Springboks because they were selling a meat pack.
Okay.
You know, this hamper was supposed to have a lot of braai things to help you braai during the games, you know, while watching the games. It's a good marketing tactics. And naturally, as a South African brand, you think using the word Springbok would not hurt anyone. But a day later, when they launched the brand, the South African Rugby Union released a statement and they told Escort to remove all advertising. They had a billboard next to the airport. They had boxes sent to all the influencers. I got one as well with meat packs written Springboks. They used the color, they used the green color along with the South African flag. And then what happened, they also used the logo and the font that Springbok is written in. They got to retract everything. That means all the money they spent in trying to help the country support the Springbok was down the drain. They didn't even...
But obviously, there were no litigation.
There was a litigation, but it was done, you know, privately between Escort and South African Rugby Union. Meaning that as sport, if sport needs to develop from developmental level all the way to mainstream, it needs to be privatized. Relying on government is not something that is working. We can look at everywhere we go. The American sports is privatized. European sports is UEFA is privatized. Have you ever heard government in UEFA?
Never.
In the Premier League?
Never.
Exactly.
Even FIFA doesn't
exactly. But you see the intervention of government in PSL.
Yeah.
Simply because they do not understand the concept of sports as a commercial brand. There was a few guys that did it for soccer. Soccer wouldn't be where it's at today. There was a documentary on the SABC about an Italian man who came to South Africa himself, and he made sports marketing what it is today. If you see this ABSA Premiership, Betway Premiership, the Rothmans Cup back in the day, that man was behind.
It was his concept.
Yeah, that was his concept. Put a name behind a brand. I put the tournament behind a brand. Put a club behind a brand. And you go now to rugby, you find that the Chelsea Sharks, Vodacom Bulls, you know, that is how we can develop local sports, because a team like the Golden Girls in Tembisa, for example, they can work very well if they were sponsored by a company, you know, and then that company would have a deal with them that says, let us use our name, you know, maybe my company is Roots Butchery, and then I would go to the Golden Girls team and say, okay, Roots will be your main sponsor. Why don't you call it Roots Golden Girls, you know? And then from there, if you find a new brand sponsor, you'll change the name. Because us as black people, we need to see that commerce and money plays a huge role in sports.
Indeed.
So in our local level, let's put the money where our mouth is. If someone says, hey, mele kube le tournament, organize the funds. Do not just say that there should be a tournament for December. Organize the funds, you know. And that is what I've been seeing with the festive games. I'm very proud to say that the festive games are something that we need to look at in the local level and reflect, because that's the true partnership of community, government, and private companies that are local coming together.
We're about to wrap it up, Steve. And I wanted us to touch base on a number of factors. And unfortunately, I want you, the last question, to answer this. What can be done actually to come up with establishments such as your Caxton as well as Mapepeza, so that they can sing from the same hymn page in as far as actually speaking on behalf of development on the ground? And just after that, very quickly, speak to the viewers and tell them where they can get Mapepeza. How do they get hold of you?
Okay, no problem. In order for us to have a media environment that thrives, we need to see the need for media. We don't just create pages on Facebook and social media for the sake of the followers and the likes. But once you have a need, and I will put two needs in the front: the need to inform and the need to inspire. So the need to inform means that our people or the people around you need to know what you know. They need to see what you see, and they need to celebrate what you celebrate, or condemn what you are condemning. How you can do that? You can open a platform online, whether it's your Facebook page or your TikTok, and start doing what you need to do. And that will start informing as many people as possible, and the right people will be your audience.
Wow.
Don't do it for the followers, do it for those who will stay. Then the need to inspire comes from the fact that you look around you and you see that there are gems, there are what we call diamonds in the rough
diamonds. So that needs to be etched.
So the responsibility to etch and unearth these rough diamonds needs a person to commit their time, energy and resources to find and highlight those things.
Wow.
So the media's role going forward, even if it changes that we are no longer a paper, we still have a need to inform and a need to inspire. And yeah, that is us in a nutshell. You know, our slogan is engaging, educating and empowering communities. And that is what we live for. You know, when I wake up and I'm like, hey, how can I engage our community best? I'm like, okay, they need to know something. How can I educate them? You know, they want to know something that I can find out for them, you know. And then how can we best do things together? That's where we empower to each other, you know. Like when they are hosting a tournament, we can freely publish it on our platforms. And I encourage other media practitioners to do the same. And it becomes a habit now that we are active players in any type of sport. It depends, it doesn't matter which code. What matters is that you do have a space. So for me, I do not have a back page for all the sports. I have all the pages
for sport.
Well,
with that being said, I did request you that where can they get hold of you?
Mapepeza is accessible primarily online. Go to www.mapepeza.online or just Google search Mapepeza, Mapepeza. It's not Mapepeza, it's Mapepeza. Because and then one other thing you can do is that if you have anything happening in the community, sports events, anything upcoming, anything that has come, maybe your child has achieved well over the past year and it hasn't been heard in the community, or they've reached some provincial or national levels in the tournaments of athletics and it wasn't emphasized, please reach out to us. We have a space for that. That's why we exist. We exist primarily to give abantwana bethu a space so that they can see each other. I was inspired to be in the media space because I saw myself constantly in the back pages of the local newspaper, you know. So I feel good to, please guys, send them on Facebook, send us WhatsApp messages, email us if you have those pictures and articles and stories. We can even come visit you guys and do interviews. Thank you.
Once again, with that being said, as we had media guru, seasonal journalist, editor, you name them all. The man, in fact, has been in the game for many years. You heard for yourself being actually enlightened and educated here. That's how we come to the end of this episode for today. Biggie on Sport, thank you so much to all my guests who have been here sharing their journey from where they started until to this point where they are. Thank you so much to the team from OBE, that is Olive Branch Entertainment, Nontlanta Ngomane and Jimmy J, my executive producer, but above all, the entire team from JD Arts 24 Studios in Northcliffe. Check us on socials. Please make sure that you share, like, but above all, you subscribe. Until then, sharp.